Hello. Good morning, everyone. Let me just get a quick audio check. Let me make sure you guys can hear me all loud and clear. Apologies about the delay. We had to start off the first stream right. Build up some hype for you guys whilst we wait. Hello. Good morning, everyone.
I can hear.
Let me just
that's not good.
Let me get that off there. Yeah, we just had to get all set up there. So appreciate you guys' patience. Hopefully you guys can hear me all loud and clear. You all hear me? Awesome. Well, welcome everyone. This is the first London stream with myself. If any of you guys haven't seen me before, my name is Aaron Trades. I've been trading for about 7 years. Streaming on my own channel for about 3 years, and now streaming on the Topstep channel. So appreciate you guys taking the time to tune in. I'm just gonna get everything set up here. Sorry guys, 2 seconds. Could see some familiar faces in the chat. Could see some new faces as well. Thank you all for stopping by. I'll give you guys an insight into my strategy. How I kind of approach the markets, and the reason I'm here streaming with you guys for the London session is because the London and Asian session is pretty much all that I trade. So hopefully we can share some good insights with you guys. Hopefully get some good trades to get on stream. I'll be taking some trades with you guys. There won't be signals. Nothing I'm going to give to you guys here is ever financial advice. I'm purely just giving my opinion and my outlook on the markets. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to shoot them over. Once we get set up, we will start running through them. I do predominantly trade gold. Gold is pretty much what I trade, I would say 90% of the time. Just given the fact that I just find that gold moves so well in my session. And it gives me good setups pretty much every day. Now, does that mean I execute every single day? Unfortunately not. We're humans at the end of the day, but it's nice to know that it does move very well in the sessions that we do trade. So I know a lot of you guys are maybe used to trading more, NASDAQ and S&P. I'm a little bit different, but you guys will start to see that as well. I will be able to, just getting up Discord here as well, guys. I'll be able to run through your questions in a second. Appreciate the patience. I'm actually located in Australia. I'm in Australia, so it's come back to about 4:20 p.m. here for me. 4:20 in the afternoon, which is coming up to 7:20 London time. I do London doesn't officially open till 8 a.m. 8 a.m. London time is the official open, but for the way that I trade gold, I do actually get some good positions pre-London as well. That's why it's good to jump on with you guys before the London Open. And then as I head off, you guys will stay on for D session as well. But yeah, we'll be doing these, for the foreseeable moving forward. I'll be trading on my Topstep accounts here with you guys today as well. Obviously, the markets, as I'm sure we've all seen, have been somewhat wild to say the least. We have had some very uncertain market times. Dan looks different today. A new face. Let me just find up Discord here, guys. Sorry, 2 seconds. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. If you guys want to feel free to shoot over any questions, we'll get through them as we go on with the session. Howdy from Darwin. Howdy. Happy to see a gold trader here for the London session. Yeah, absolutely. It's good to trade something different. I do focus just on gold, but I know some of you guys do trade NASDAQ, so maybe you can use a little bit of my gold system for the European markets, and then NASDAQ towards the US session. The reason I personally prefer to trade gold over NASDAQ is it just moves well in all of my sessions. And for my Topstep accounts here, which you guys can see, I've had these accounts since let's go back to February, I believe we got these accounts, and I've been trading. I pretty much just trade one contract on gold. One contract, which is very different to one contract on NASDAQ. One contract on gold is $10 per tick move. And, you know, I could trade bigger size and, you know, full margin it, but what I'm going to be showing here with you guys over the next foreseeable is trading consistently. I don't full margin all of my trades. I'm very conservative with my setups, and I don't trade every single day. But when I stick to my plan, I stick to my setups, we get this beautiful growth. And this was the same as what I had on the combines as well, is I take my time with them. You know, I'm not trying to pass in 2 days or pass, you know, in 3 days by pure luck. I want to trade consistently. And that's what you guys are going to see here over the next foreseeable. I'm going to be trading live with you guys as I normally do. Like I say, it won't be buy now, sell now. But what I am going to be doing is just showing you guys what I'm actually doing, how I'm going to be approaching the markets. So we will look at other markets as well. Any other instruments you guys do want to see, feel free to send it. We'll have a look as well. I personally will only be executing on gold. Everything you guys just saw here is just from trading gold. Nothing else. Just from trading gold and just trading in the London and Asian session, which, you know, can be seen as a quote-unquote quieter session. But if you guys measure on gold, if you look at the bounce off this support into these highs, I mean, this is an exceptional day. But if you just measure, say, let's say from here to here, that's a 197 tick move. You catch that at one contract, that's, you know, $1,900. It's a very, very big move. Yeah, NASDAQ and ES are limit down, guys, so be careful trading your funded accounts on them as well. Goldie's different, and that's what we're mainly going to be looking at here. So yeah, be careful of that, because the markets are irrational today, absolutely irrational, which is fine. You know, that's trading. As long as you guys can stay patient, accept that that's part of trading. That's the reason I'm trading. I'm on the micros chart today. I don't usually trade micros. However, you know, in the London session, I'm used to trading, say, 50 to 100 tick ranges, which one contract, that's great. However, when the range is like 500 ticks, if I don't accept that risk and change my size, I'm going to be over leveraging, right? So if you're used to trading a 100 tick range, but the markets are moving in a 1,000 tick range, and you trade the same contract size that you would normally in normal times, you're going to be over leveraging. No, so gold has actually been, let's have a look here as well. Hey, ciao. Gold has been actually peaking all-time highs as everything else has been selling off. Gold has been the absolute safe haven, which to start this year, gold has been absolutely phenomenal. We started the year on gold, let's just say from down here, and we peaked at highs of 20%. Now, for you NASDAQ traders, that might not seem a lot. For gold, 20% from January to April is absolutely huge. So there's been some phenomenal moves to start the year on gold. And, you know, when it was peaking all-time highs, if anyone who's followed over from my channel, it was very, very difficult to trade during that time because you don't really know what's going to happen up here. You don't really want to be buying as you're peaking all-time highs, and you also don't want to be the first one trying to sell all-time highs. So seeing gold now starting to have a sell-off is actually really nice, because now it's actually tradable. Now you actually have price action to the left that you can base trades off. However, you know, when you're up here, you know, you don't want to be buying because you don't want to call the tops, and you also don't want to be selling the tops either. So you have to stay very, very patient at these times. So gold has had some very, very big drops off the back of NFP on Friday. And today in Asia, we have had, again, some very, very big whipsaw moves, which is, you know, for the Asian session, a price movement of almost 1,000 ticks is absolutely huge. Absolutely huge. Yeah, we'll look at ES and the Dow as well, absolutely. So the gold today is only, because the percent moves on gold aren't as much, which, where are we? If we measure from here to here, gold's only down about 3% today, which, don't get me wrong, that's still a lot, but it's not as big as all other markets are down right now. Yeah, don't if you guys are trading NASDAQ or ES and it is limit down, don't trade them on your funded accounts. I believe you can still trade it on combines, but don't trade it on your funded accounts. Plus, you know, I don't think, even if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't advise you guys to trade funded accounts during these times, because these are not normal. These aren't the conditions that got you funded in the first place. So, you know, you don't want to ruin your progress by trying to trade such volatile markets. You know, it can look all well and good. You know, you can see, wow, I could catch a couple of hundred ticks today, whereas normally I might just get 20. But you kind of have to look at that from both sides. that could also go against you as well. But to answer your question of what are my trading strategies, I trade, which you guys will see because I'll execute positions. Let me just get rid of this. I trade very simple price action. I use pure price action and liquidity, and that is pretty much it. I don't use any, crazy indicators or anything like that. I like to study pure price action. And kind of what I say to them is if you can get good at reading a naked chart on gold, you'll do very, very well. I will, use confluences to demonstrate it with you guys as well. For instance, today, the levels that I am looking here on gold is for price to potentially come up and retrace into these highs here as well. And kind of what I'm looking at is you'll start sort of forming this inverse head and shoulders. You have come up and hit some pretty big resistance here today already. You had this big move down in Asia, which as soon as I jumped on this morning, I saw, Asia having this little gap down, massive spike into some major lows, back down at 3,000. I was like, okay, cool. That's probably going to be Asia. So I kind of didn't trade Asia today, which I normally do trade. I let price find its feet. And we've kind of had this big, nice bounce higher, formed some big resistance here, and now we're starting to have a little bit of a sell-off. But coming into today's session, if we just have a look at because I do all of, not all, but a lot of my execution, which you guys will see, is mainly based off the 5-minute. However, I execute on the 5-minute based on my higher time frame already painting the picture. And if I don't have that picture painted on the higher time frame, if I open my charts and go straight to the 5-minute, I'll just get chopped up all day long. So as soon as I get that direction painted on my higher time frame, fantastic. That's when I'll look to drop down. So it's coming up to about 7:29 here London time. So we're about to get this 30-minute close, which if we just have a look at what we're kind of seeing is we do have my nice liquidity level for the day is up here, which on the gold futures is around 38.2. Around 38.2, looking for price to retrace. You kind of see, to be fair, you have already, you had this really big push down here on NFP on Friday. You've already had this pretty decent retracement, which was a very nice bounce off a massive daily level of previous resistance, which you never quite came back down to retest. You guys can see here, you had this resistance from back in February. Major highs. Aggressively broke above it here on the 13th of March. And you never quite came back down to retest this level. So for me, this pullback on gold is healthy. I think this is nice. So it's going to be interesting to see, are we going to break the support and keep dropping lower and come test some big levels? Or, are we going to bounce from here and continue pushing higher? What I do like is, same again, as I just showed you guys with the inverse head and shoulders, is what we kind of sort of forming here. Kind of got left shoulder, head, potentially price to come up for that right shoulder, which any guys who do trade gold, that's a pattern that's worked a lot. So we can see we're already bouncing off major support. If we were to look at a next big area of gold where price could come up and hold, it would be here. You broke below this, held this and pushed lower. So if we now drop down to our lower time frame here, I like to keep my charts super clean. You guys will see my charts very clean. I like to be able to just digest pure price action. So you can see here the 4-hour on gold futures came down, liquidated a lot of these lows, never broke through this support and had a very big rejection. And you can also see, and this is the thing, I'm extremely neutral in the way that I trade as well, which you guys will see. I don't ever come onto the charts and go, gold has to go up today or gold's going to go down today. I'm extremely neutral. If gold starts breaking below some levels, I'll look to go short. If gold starts breaking above some highs, and I have reason to go long, fantastic, I'll take some longs. What I won't do is be glued to a certain bias. And I'm, this is something that comes with time in trading. Like I say to you guys, anyone who's new, I've been trading for about 7 years, is the less that I try and predict, the better I'm going to be as a trader. I don't come onto charts, with any egos or any bias. I let the charts tell me what they want to do, and I simply follow it. I try to get my piece out of the pie, and that's pretty much it. So, as I was just saying, gold has held some massive support here. So could we go higher? Potentially. But what have we also done? This is what I'm saying. We have to be very neutral. We can't look at this support and go, gold must go up, without seeing that this is a very nice level of resistance where gold could also go down. So without even needing to drop down, we're in a bit of a 4-hour range. You've came down, you've liquidated 2 equal lows, you failed to close above the resistance, which is so key. If you see this candle happening, you're like, oh, cool, you're massively grabbing these lows. You're looking like price is going to continue pushing up. But as soon as price fails to close above the resistance, then I'm like, okay, cool, well, longs don't really look like they're on the cards just yet. on a higher time frame perspective. So this is when I kind of start dropping down to my lower time frames and painting a little bit more of a picture. So what I can kind of see is this inverse head and shoulders forming. So if we can start holding some support from this region, which we have just got this 30-minute close, there's the possibility of me looking to take this higher. If I would like to go short on gold, well, then I'll simply wait for price to actually close below the support, and then I could look to retarget these levels. What I won't do is just start selling gold now because I want price to go down. Price to me is at a big level of support. If I want to sell this, price has to close below, and then we can follow it. Very, very simple price action. Even if you guys see here, this was actually a nice setup pre-London at around 6:30 London time. You came up, you liquidated highs, closed bearish, you broke below the support. That to me there was a very nice sell. You got about 150 ticks there. Very, very, very nice sell, which are one contract is about $1,500. These are very, very, very big moves. So if I'd like to go short on gold, I would like to see price break probably below here with volume, and then cool, I'll follow on the way down. If I want to go long on gold, which I would say is my preferred direction, not my only direction, but my preferred direction, I'd like to see price close, let me just make this a little bit thinner. I'd like to see price close back above here, which is about 3043.6, because you broke above it, held it, pushed higher, broke above, held it for a few times. So in terms of staying neutral, if we can get back above this level, I think we actually could have a really nice buy. Could actually be a really, really nice opportunity. So as of right now on gold, given that it is certainly not normal times, my bias is extremely neutral. These markets, let me just turn the music down for you guys. If the background music's annoying for you guys, it's just some copy-free music. Feel free to let me know. I can turn it off. It's just if it's better for you guys to have something to listen to rather than me rambling. Let me turn it down just a little bit. But yeah, this, you know, and this comes with all markets. These aren't the times to be the hero on any market that you guys are trading. You know, we'll have a look at some of the Nasdaq and ES as well, where we can have a look at crude oil. These are the times to be extremely conservative and protect your capital at all costs, because that is the absolute key. You guys don't want to ruin, you know, March was a fantastic month. You don't want to ruin a good month by feeling like you have to take a trade every single day. Who is this man? This man is Aaron, also known as Aaron Trades. Do we still anticipate Euro Pound to buy into London Open? We can have a look at the Euro. Open positions right now. I have no open positions right now. I haven't taken any trades so far today. I was looking to short gold in Asia. I was looking to short this in Asia. However, when I opened the charts, this had already pushed down this much. So, you know, when I jump on the markets and I see gold has already ripped down 600 ticks, which is completely unnormal for gold in the Asian session, I'm like, that's fine. I accept it. I walk away. So, decided just to go to the beach with my dog and my girlfriend and just enjoy some time off the charts. And that's what, you know, a lot of professional trading does take. It takes knowing when to actually walk away. But this is looking quite nice. You know, if this 30 can close back above this level, we could have nice fake out buys to continue pushing up. This is the 30-minute time frame, and this is halfway through the hourly. So if we close bullish here on the 30-minute, we go back to the hourly, we're going to see a nice wick rejection, and then we're going to look and we go, oh, cool. Price is holding this support. I can look to go long. So this is how you want to use your multi-time frame analysis, rather than, you know, seeing this 30-minute close bearish and go, oh, wow, let me go short. I'm going to go short. You've had a 30-minute bearish close. You have to understand higher time frame paints the picture. You're at a nice level of hourly support. So I personally like fake out buys back above the resistance at 34.4-ish. I think that's a nice level. Yeah, market open was, yeah, 500 tick open. It was absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Which, you know, I do see a lot of people getting all, you know, excited about these massive moves and, you know, how people have made this much money on their combine, etc., which is, you know, it's all well and good, but you don't just want to get lucky in these markets, because if you get lucky in these markets, once you get to the funder stage, if you're not doing it consistently, you know, you're going to struggle. So focus on what works consistently, not what works today. I always say to everyone on my stream, and you guys who are coming over from my channel, is, you know, you're not paid as a trader on how you perform today. You're paid as a trader on how you perform over the next month, over the next quarter. Today isn't going to determine whether or not you're a good trader. So you just have to be a little bit more patient in these markets, and you know, when the time's right, you can execute. And even last week, I had a very, very quiet week last week. I only took 2 trades, and they were actually very, very small trades. I only ended up the week 271 across 4 accounts. You know, it's not too bad, but all we're really trying to do here is just take our small piece of the pie. And I'm currently sitting around, you guys can see, currently sitting around a 53-ish% win rate with about a 1-to-1 risk to reward. One thing and this is the reason that this is slightly lower, because this win rate with if it was just following this wouldn't be up this much. However, I keep my losses very small. In the sense that, you know, which you guys will see, I'll be executing plenty of positions here with you guys over the next however long we stream for, the next few months, etc. Is, you know, I don't mind being wrong. I'm okay with being wrong. Let's say, for example, if, you know, I short gold here and I shorted off the fact that price broke back below this level, and let's just say, you know, I took sells here. I took sells here because price broke below this resistance and I wanted price to continue pushing down into support. And, you know, my hard stop was up at these highs. The way that I trade, which you guys will see, is if price closes back above the resistance and is clearly going against me, I personally don't let it come anywhere near my hard stop. I get out before that happens because the trade is invalid. This is my hard stop. I use a lot of hard stops to keep me safe, and a lot of mental stops to actually get me out of a position before that. This ain't D. It might be. Nah, D will be on after me as well. I'll stay on with you guys until about 8:30 London time. So we got the London Open in about 20 minutes, and then we'll stay on for another half an hour, and then I'll give you guys a break before D jumps on her show as well. I'll be jumping on from moving forward around 7 a.m. to about 8:30 London time. You know, we do get a lot of pre-London moves, and in normal times, you know, I'd be firing up trades with you guys, but I am going to be extremely cautious here. And, you know, you guys will see me take the wins, you'll see me take the losses, you guys will see me manage my risk, and you guys have followed over from my channel. You guys have seen it all. You know, I've been streaming for about 3 years consistently, and I'm okay with losing. I don't care about losing. Because if I lose a trade today, guess what? I'll still be here tomorrow. Because I'm not over-leveraged, and I'm not over-risking, I'm not forcing trades, I'm following my plan. Risk per day for the 50K. Now, I only trade, and this is the thing, if you guys, you know, maybe want to trade, follow along with me trading gold in the European session, and you maybe trade NASDAQ in the New York session, one contract on gold is very different to one contract on NASDAQ. One contract on gold is actually quite small. However, I usually risk, I'd say on average, anywhere between 100, 150, 200, which, if I just show you guys normal times, because these market moves are absolutely crazy, man. That's about 15 to 20 ticks on gold. So if we just scroll back to where's a normal London session where the markets aren't moving a couple of hundred ticks in a session. So if we look here, let's look at this in the London session here. If we measure this, let's say then this was a fantastic short. Let's say if I shorted this, stops above that high, that's about 30-ish ticks as a worst case scenario. But I like to get out before that, and I'm usually going for like, you know, 1 to 1.5, 1 to 2 risk rewards, depending on what the markets give me. As you guys will see, the way I trade as well is, you know, I trade a lot into liquidity. And what I mean by that is, you know, I try and identify levels where people are jumping in longs with stops sitting just below, and I'm trying to take advantage of that. So I'm trying to short into where most people are trying to buy. And that is pretty much my strategy. I used to trade, you know, liquidity in the sense that I'd wait for price to come down, grab lows, and then try and go long. But one thing that I've kind of adapted into my strategy is if I can identify levels where price needs to tap into, well, I want to look for a shorting opportunity into that, rather than me sitting on my hands, waiting for price to get down into here, and then trying to get in long, sorry. If I can see a reason to short into that, well, that can just be my trade. So I know some of you guys probably do already trade liquidity or do already trade like me. And when I say liquidity, all I simply mean, and this is just the way that gold loves to move, and this is the reason I love gold so much, is gold loves to have bounces off levels of support, bringing in a lot of buyers But if it hasn't grabbed the lowest point of the support, gold 9 times out of 10 will come down, liquidate the lows, and then have the real move. So I'm trying to understand levels in the markets where price hasn't grabbed them highs so I can buy or sell into that. Any of you guys who were on my stream on Friday, this was the level that I gave on gold pre-NFP for price to come into before having this short. So what I was saying on Friday, and you guys can go back and watch it on my channel, is I was saying that I would imagine a lot of people will be shorting gold here with stops just above that high. So you can either wait for the highs to get grabbed and then short out of it. However, if you can identify that this is a good level, and once we find some support, I can get a good entry into that, well, I can trade into the liquidity, and that can just be my trade. And then whatever happens up here, well, who cares? I've made my money on the way up, so I'm not trying to worry too much about, are we going to go short, or are we going to go higher? If I've got my trade into that level, once we're at here, well, guess what? I can sit on my hands, or that can just be my trade for the day. Could get nice, potential nice fake outs here on gold soon. I am still watching this. Like I said to you guys, I am, I do normally trade minis. However, given the ranges are so big, I will be trading micros today. Do I recommend backtesting? Yes, absolutely. Anything you can do to speed up your chart time in the markets is going to help you. I prefer simulation sessions rather than backtesting. Simulations in the sense that you can actually go back and execute positions and play it in real time. Absolutely. Anything that's going to speed up your guys' journey. One of the biggest things that's helped me is just seeing the same things happen over and over and over again. And, a lot of my analysis that I'll do here is just to represent to you guys what I'm actually looking at. But eventually, the goal is to be able to get to a point where you can just jump on the charts and you can just see it from that neutral perspective. But that only ever comes from having an extensive amount of time in the markets to see the same things happen over again and actually, see it and learn from it. Like, oh, I've seen this too many times. I'm not going to short here because this is hourly support. I've done that too many times and I've got stopped out. Okay, cool. If this is hourly support, regardless of if this 15 closed bearish, I'm not going to sell here. Now, if this was normal times, guys, as you guys will see as well, I use a lot of buy stops. So if this was normal times, I would have a buy stop breaking above this high here on gold. And I'd be looking to target probably somewhere back up into these regions. I like to use a lot of buy and sell stops rather than market execution. So if I had a buy stop above this 15-minute high, that's basically me essentially saying to the markets, okay, if you can flip bullish, my buy order is going to get tagged in and we're going to continue pushing up. However, if the markets keep pushing down and my buy stop doesn't get tagged, well, guess what? I just cancel my order. No trade, no loss. So you guys will see me over the, as we continue to stream here, you guys will see me use a lot of buy and sell stops. That's just personally how I like to enter the markets. It just kind of removes an element of predicting, Like I say, if I put in a, let me just put up here just to be safe. If I put in a buy stop up here on gold, let's say this is happening up here and price does fake out on the 15 and we keep pushing down, well, guess what? I get my buy stop and I just delete it and no loss. However, if I start trying to market execute from here and price does just keep pushing down, holding this resistance, well, then I'm going to get stopped out. And if price doesn't flip bullish, cancel my order. If price does flip bullish, you should get tagged in as it flips bullish and with the volume. So we'll leave this up as just a little forward test just to show you guys. I'm not going to execute this too early on. Not that I don't trade pre-London. I get some fantastic moves in pre-London, but just in terms of demonstration purposes, you could have a buy stop in here. If you start closing back below this level, you could look to manage risk. Maybe you could have a hard stop here. Look how big these stops are as well. This isn't normal on gold, guys. 750 tick stop losses is not normal on gold by any means. That's why I'm, being extremely, extremely cautious. I'll be probably, maybe playing it back up into this resistance, for example. If you were to close back below this level, my real exit would be somewhere around here. So you guys will see me use a lot of buy and sell stops. How many micro contracts are you going to take? Trade on the 50. It depends how big the stops are. Like I'm measuring this and I'm going, wow, these stops are really, really big. In normal London times, a stop below a previous 15-minute low, 15, 20 ticks maybe. Look how big these are. You're normally, you know, if you put a stop below a 15-minute low on a London session, you're talking 15, 20, 25 ticks max. Whereas these stops here are huge. And that's just because these ranges are so big. So probably, I don't know, man, a lot. I wouldn't even want to risk, you know, I guess if you took one, you're risking like $75. Maybe you trade like, maybe I'd risk like, you know, I normally risk about 150 to 200. So say about maybe 2 or so. Are there any specific window you look for a trade on gold? Or you stalk the whole London session? Honestly, not really. I find that, you know, like if you guys come from a maybe NASDAQ background, you know, the New York Open, NASDAQ's guaranteed volume. Whereas gold, it's not really like that. Does that mean, you know, I sit here religiously and stare at the markets day in and day out? Absolutely not. I utilize a lot of alerts. Alerts are my absolute lifesaver. Is the mic too loud? Am I too close to it? Is it good for you guys? Alerts are my lifesaver. You know, let's say for example, right now I'm looking to short gold. Well, price is closing above this level, so I'd probably set an alert maybe somewhere down here. And then once my alert goes off, cool, I know gold's moving. Let me fire up the charts. But sometimes gold can move. You know, even here, pre-London 630. You've already had, you know, a really nice drop down here on gold. I do find I get a lot of trades pre-London. It also depends on how Asia's moved as well. Sounds perfect. Awesome. Thank you, man. But no, I don't have a specific window where I'm like, nah, gold only moves within this time. Gold's kind of like a different beast when it comes to that. It can move in its own way when it wants. So, you know, to save yourself from actually sitting here watching it 24/7, I'd recommend you guys to set alerts. Like I say, alerts are my absolute lifesaver. We've got about 460 people tuning in. Thank you guys for tuning in. Remember, drop a like for the Topstep channel. Let's build up this London show. If we do fake out back below this level, then, you know, we'll see how this hourly is going to open in about 10 minutes. How can we backtest a crashing market? Don't. To be honest, don't. Your job isn't to try and trade a crashing market. Your job is to trade normal market conditions. Yeah, this is I'm using this is the Topstep X platform here. That's where I do all my execution. I'm currently copying across 4 Topstep accounts at the minute, which I prefer to do. You know, a lot of people say, well, why don't you just trade like 200s? I personally like the 50s because I like just to stick to one contract. Let's see. It's going to be an interesting London Open here, guys. It's going to be a... Let's see how this... Thing is, if we do close back below, I do like sells. However, I would need to see price like break back below the support pretty aggressively. Otherwise, I can't really sell gold here. I don't want to be a seller here on gold just yet. Not yet. We've got London Open though. We've got this candle close in about 9 minutes. Yep, absolutely. I'll be here every day. Monday to Friday. Monday to Friday. Obviously, in normal times, you know, I'll be able to actually execute plenty of positions with you guys. Like I say, I'll normally be, you know, taking my normal size trades. I use all my alerts on TradingView personally, which is one thing I do as well, guys. I correlate, which is actually interesting because right now it's looking a bit different. I correlate my futures chart here with the currency chart as well. So I do a lot of my alerts on TradingView. Once my alert goes off on TradingView, cool, fire up Topstep and look to take the trades. But yeah, I pretty much just trade one contract. Sometimes I maybe trade 2 contracts, but most of the time I'm just sticking to one. I'm sticking to one, but I'm copy trading across 4 accounts. So I guess you could say technically I'm trading 4 contracts, but per account I'm only trading 1 contract. Because 1 contract is enough to allow me to manage my risk, and 1 contract is also enough for me to make fantastic gains. I don't really need to trade anymore. You know, my balance is up 2.6 thousand here on Topstep, which, you know, I could be trading 5 contracts. I just don't really feel the need to. I like consistency. You know, you'll get the people that get the big, massive jackpot wins and, you know, the huge, big trades with the 5 contracts, but it's rare to see them people still being around over the next, you know, however long. So I'm also focused on consistency as well. All you guys here see like 1 to 2 here, you know, one contract, $300. Like, man, that's fantastic. You get that a couple of times a week, you guys are on the right track. Don't underestimate the power of, you know, $100, $200 days, because they do add up. They really do. Even here, traded micros, traded 5 micros, which is half a normal lot on gold, which, you know, was a loss. So very well managed risk. That was when the markets were getting pretty volatile. If I traded that at normal contracts and taken a loss, I would have kicked myself, because it would have been a pretty big loss. Not looking to short gold just yet. I'm just going to wait to see this hourly close. If we start bouncing back higher, I prefer the longs. This is what I was mentioning earlier about the buy stop on the flip of this candle. I don't have any orders in, as the markets are extremely volatile and I want to wait for this hourly close. But this is a trade that I would be in right now. This is a trade that I like. And the reason I'm not in just yet is because we're that close to the hourly candle that, you know, even if this hourly does close nice and bullish, well, guess what? The next hourly is still going to come down, give me a nice bottom wick before continuing to push higher. And at that point, the move's more confirmed. I don't at the minute, but it's definitely going to be a goal. Absolutely. Hopefully I can do it here with you guys as well. A lot of you guys who are coming from my channel, you know, we do take a lot of trades on stream as well. So hopefully we can do it here together as a journey. Am I on every day now? Yes, I will be. Yep, we'll be on every day. Monday through to Friday, we're jumping about 7 till about 8:30-ish London time. Some great candles. Yeah, did you like that drawing? That was quite an impressive drawing, wasn't it? That was my, if this hourly closes bullish, next hourly will come down for a nice bottom wick before then pushing higher. So that was my attempt at some candle drawings there. It'll leave a nice little wick like this. Art is definitely not my my key skill, that's for sure. That's my attempt of a candle. I think that's all right, actually. I don't think that's too bad. I don't think that's too bad. So this is a trade that I would be in, guys, in normal times, because you've had that 15-minute fake out. You have price bouncing off an hourly support. There's a high chance you're going to at least re-grab 15-minute highs. So in normal markets, this would be a trade I would be in. However, these are not normal markets, unfortunately. My management point, if I was in this trade, would be once you start breaking back above this level, I can look to manage my risk. Traveled around Australia for a while. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Australia's a beautiful place. I'm obviously, as I'm sure you guys can tell from the accent, I'm not from Australia. I just live here. I've lived here for about 2 years, and I love it. It's an absolutely beautiful place. So if I was in this trade, guys, I'd just delete it there. As we're not driving and we're coming close to the hourly close, this is where I'd probably be dropping down to the 5-minute, and I'd probably see price stalling. Which you can see price stalling. So I'd have stops below this low, which is nice. You came down, grabbed a lot of lows, held support. That was quite a nice little 5-minute close there. However, I would want to see this 5-minute close strong in order for me to actually want to hold this trade. As you start breaking here on the 5-minute, you know, I'd be looking to manage my stops as well, be bringing it up. Didn't think you was. Yeah, I'm not. I don't quite have the Australian accent just yet. I'm from a very small town called Jersey. If any of you guys who are from the UK, not America, Jersey, not quite. From a very, very small town called Jersey. Small island. I moved to Australia to... I speak like an Aussie. Oh, no. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't think that's a good thing. Yeah, it's a beautiful day here as well. The reason I moved to Australia is just because it's just beautiful weather, beautiful lifestyle. Good trading times for me in the European and Asian session. So if I was in this trade, guys, you know, as we start breaking high, you're going to get this hourly close in about 2 minutes. I'd probably be looking to manage risk pretty soon, if not break even. I'm not in this trade, as you guys can see. I'm just drawing it up as if we were in it because the markets are pretty irrational. And as soon as you start grabbing these highs, that would be where I would manage risk, because there's nothing to say price can't grab these highs and continue pushing lower. So as soon as you start grabbing these highs, that would be where I'd manage my risk. London is about to open in about 2 minutes. 2 minutes. You've got the currency chart also faking out of 30,025, reflipping back bullish. You're going to get quite a nice hourly closure here. This hourly close could actually confirm the move more. So if I was in this trade, guys, I would absolutely be break even here. 5-minute came down, grabbed a lot of liquidity, held support, broke back higher. This actual entry here would have been nice. So if I was in this trade, I'd be managing risk. I wouldn't be targeting this high. I'm not that greedy today. I'd probably be playing like maybe back up into these areas, which is still, you know, a very, very, very nice retracement. Even this, what's it, this on this 1 5-minute candle? 37 ticks. Like I said to you guys, 30 ticks here, 40 ticks in this 1 5-minute candle. You take that one contract, $400. That's a fantastic trade. Where in Australia? I'm based in the Gold Coast, man. I'm based in the Gold Coast. I've lived all around Australia. I've been, when I first came here, I moved to Brisbane, and then I lived in the Sunshine Coast, back in Brisbane, and now back down here on the Gold Coast. It's a very, very nice spot. If you guys ever do get the chance, it's a fantastic place to revisit. You wake up to nice, beautiful blue skies every day, good weather, good lifestyle. Depends if you trade in New York, you know, it can be a little bit tough. New York for me, with the time change at the minute, starts around 10:30, 11 p.m. Which, you know, can be tough, but to me, pros and cons, the lifestyle makes up for it. The lifestyle makes up for it. Ah, Noosaville, yes, I have, yeah. Noosaville as in, like, Noosa? Is that the same place? Just up from Sunshine Coast? Yeah, Noosa, yeah, beautiful spot, yeah, I have. Very, very nice spot. That's awesome, man. Beautiful spot. That's the thing, you know, a lot of people who, well, you guys on YouTube, where are you all tuning in from? Where's everyone tuning? Are you guys all from Europe? Or where's everyone tuning in from? Because I know a lot of people here who do trade on this time zone think that you have to stay up till, you know, 2, 3 a.m. To be able to trade New York session. I never do that. I literally never do that. I only trade Asian and European markets. Sometimes maybe a little bit of pre-New York, but not really. Cambodia, South Florida, UK, Canada, Brisbane, nice. New York, oh nice. New York, you guys must be, what time is it there? It must be late. Is it late or early? 3 a.m. 3 a.m. New York time. New Mexico, nice. Ohio, Canada, awesome. Newcastle, UK, nice. I used to live in Newcastle. I used to live in Newcastle in my UK days. Hong Kong, France, UK, Atlanta, Hollywood. You guys are from all over the world. Amazing. Awesome to see. I hope to see you familiar faces stay on here throughout the foreseeable. We build up these this London Open show. So we got London Open here, guys. Let's have a look at this hourly close. You just closed with a very, very nice wick rejection. Very, very nice wick rejection, grabbing previous hourly lows, liquidating these lows here. To me, this looks good to continue pushing up. The only thing I would be wary of buys is you do have resistance right here. But to me, this looks good to continue pushing up. I wish I had a combine because I'd like to trade a combine today. I'm not really too comfortable trading my fund accounts today here. But this to me looks good. I like this trade. I like buys here. The hourly's closed nice and bullish. The only thing is this level here, this is the hourly resistance. So you would have to manage your risk here. That's the only thing. If we were in from this 15-minute flip that we spoke about earlier, you know, you'd actually be very comfortable right now. Second you come into these areas, you know, you may even be, you know, looking to take some partials. But this level here is hourly resistance, which is about 30, 50, 52-ish. Fired the chat. Yeah, look at that. Amazing. Big up Wales. You guys are from all over, which is awesome. People tuning from all over the world. You guys are in America. You guys are on the late night grind. It's 5 p.m. here in Australia. It's 8 a.m. in London, 3 a.m. in New York. You guys are on a late night grind. Hopefully, I'll pretend that you guys are up that late just to watch me. We'll pretend you guys will stay up till 3 a.m. just to watch the new show here. Give my ego a little bit of a boost. Let's have a look at some other markets, because Goldie's looking good here, guys. Goldie looks good to continue pushing up. I'm just very, very cautious today. I'm cautious on every market. Someone mentioned Euro. Let's have a look at Euro futures. Someone did mention the Euro. You can trade on XFA depending on which market. If you're trading NASDAQ or ES, be very careful. I mean, I wouldn't trade them regardless, to be honest. Have a look at the Euro. Any of you guys who are new to me, I did come from a currency background. How do I, can I hide these? Can I hide news? How do I hide news? Scale, news, can you hide news? I'm sure you can. Oh well, it's fine. We'll leave that pretty pattern there. Yeah, anyone who doesn't know, I did come from a currency background. I came from trading foreign exchange currencies. And, you know, I used to trade about 10 plus pairs. And now I just trade just gold. For me, it's been a lot easier, but I do have experience trading these currencies. So, if you guys do want to look at some currency markets, feel free to send it over as well. You can see here on the euro, though, to me, it looked nice to continue pushing up into last week's wick. I think this rejection here is a retail trap to bring in a lot of sellers. But to me, this has been a very, very nice run up that I wouldn't want to be selling that. Yeah, it's in the settings, isn't it? It's in the settings somewhere. Markets are a bit, yeah, markets are very volatile, man. Nice to see you too. Wish I shorted my personal account. Yeah, me too. I would be retired for the rest of the year. But yeah, hide news in the settings tab. That's what I thought. Am I missing something? Oh, as in like here? If it is, I'll do it after. There's no problem. Oh, cool. I'll do it after. So. Euro, someone else about Euro. Euro looks good to continue pushing up. To me, this rejection is a trap to bring in a lot of early sellers. And that's one thing I want to note to you guys, same as NASDAQ right now. If, one thing you don't want to be doing is calling tops and bottoms. I always say to people, I would rather, and let me just fire it up. I'll just fire up NASDAQ with you guys just to show you guys. I've heard a lot of people saying, I don't want to compare. I want to look at NASDAQ. I've heard a lot of people saying, that this has the possibility to be the lows of the markets. And to me, to want to even predict that level is mind-blowing. Like, if you, and look, we're still absolutely, this is crazy, we're still dropping so hard here. If you guys, if I'm going to be wrong in the markets, I want to be wrong following the markets. I don't want to be wrong trying to catch the bottom. Because if I try and go long down here and I get stopped out, not only am I going to lose money, but I'm very likely going to go on tilt because I know that's not what I should be doing anyway. I know I shouldn't be trying to call the bottom. So if I get stopped out trying to go short, I'm probably going to go on tilt. If I get stopped out trying to go long, I'm probably going to go on tilt. But if I get stopped out trying to go short, that's fine. I'm okay with that. The markets are pushing down. I want to be following the markets. Our job isn't to catch the bottoms. Our job isn't to think that this is going to be the support. And, when the markets are ripping down this much, you start saying to yourself, well, surely we have to pull back at some point. Like, surely, maybe, we've got some support here. Like, surely we're going to find some support. That's not the way you guys want to be thinking. Your job isn't to try and predict the markets. Your job is to wait for price to find support, maybe create a range for a good couple of days. And then maybe if you have reasons, you can look for a good pullback. But coming onto the markets after last week closed so bearish, to me, it would be crazy to even start considering short. So, if you're going to be wrong trading, at least be wrong doing the right things. Because if I'm wrong doing something that I know I shouldn't do, that's when the disaster happens. That's when you go on tilt. That's when you start losing money. And that's when you full port your account. And that's when you mentally blow up. Mental capital preservation is absolutely key for you guys. So for me here on, let me just go back to, let's have a look at NASDAQ or something like the S&P. My job is to simply wait for price to find its feet, pull back a little bit, and then look for short setups. Because I want to be following the markets. I don't want to be the first one who's trying to call the bottoms here. Now, it's not to say that this couldn't be the bottom on NASDAQ or the S&P or any other markets. It's not to say that it couldn't be the bottom. It's more so that it's just my job to not be the one to try and call that. Like, for me personally, I don't care about being right or wrong. I don't care. I don't care about me being right or wrong, or me trying to put my opinions on the market, or me saying S&P has to do this day. That's not what's going to make me money. That's not what's going to make me money at all. Same as gold. Sometimes I could jump on gold, and someone could be like, "Nah, today gold's going to 3,100," and I'm like, maybe. I don't know. That's not my job. If we start breaking back above some levels and gold gives me reason to think that that could be correct, guess what? I'm going to execute on it. But it's certainly not my job when, maybe gold's pushing down to all of a sudden be like, nah, gold has to find support. Surely it has to pull back. Because gold's very similar like NASDAQ, where if you try and trade against it, it can give you false signs of support, and it can just keep pushing down. And if you had, removing that ego and that bias and actually just accepted that markets are going down and just simply followed it, you'd have a much easier time. So don't be the ones trying to catch the bottom of the markets there, guys. Follow the markets. Be in flow with the markets. Your job isn't to predict the markets. Your job is to simply to react to what's right in front of you. Although I would love gold to continue pushing up today and retest this support, if we start breaking back down below, does that mean I'm going to start buying gold? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because this is, there will be a lot of people who are not only blowing up capital during these times in all markets, but blowing up mentally. These are the times where the markets are really, really going to test you. And, if you can survive these times, and even if you guys survived last week, you're doing something right. You're absolutely doing something right. And, they're the trades that in the back of your mind, you shouldn't be in it. You know you shouldn't be in them ones. Do you have any psychological tips going full time? What was my experience? Yeah, well, my journey into full-time trading was maybe different to most, I would say. When I first went full-time trading, I feel like a lot of people these days, I don't want to speak on behalf of everyone, but I feel like a lot of people these days have a lot of unrealistic expectations where, they want to make 10,000, 20,000 every single month. For me, I was like, man, let's say if I make $3,000 in pounds or whatever it is in my 9-to-5 job, I was like, if I can make a fraction of that doing something I love, not only am I going to be happier, I'm going to be able to actually trade better because I'm going to have a good peace of mind. So when I took the leap into full-time trading, I quit my job. I quit my rental where I was back in the UK, and I just said, you know what, I'm going. And I went to go live in a country where I could live way below my means in order for me to be able to focus on trading. So that's just, obviously not everyone can make that commitment, but that's just the way I took it. I was like, guess what? I don't really care about making 10,000, 20,000 a month. I know that if I become a good trader, that one day that will come. So let me just focus on becoming a good trader. So I was like, cool, if I can just make, 1,000, 2,000 a month, live somewhere in Asia, like I first went to Thailand and, been to Bali, Vietnam, like them countries, I can live way below my means. And, when I'm in that environment, my headspace is so much better. So, I'm not stressed about my job all the time. I'm not trying to force trades because I'm trying to escape this life that I'm living that I don't want to be living. So keep it realistic. It's certainly not easy to go full-time in trading. And one thing I did as well, again, this isn't going to be applicable to everyone, is I just removed all of my outgoings. I removed every single outgoing I didn't need. I massively lived, below my means, when all my friends are maybe, getting mortgages, getting the cars, all this, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I don't really care. I know that if I can become good at trading, I know what I can do with this. So I'm happy to, live below my means for a good while. And it made the process a lot easier and a lot better. So don't be so, it's easier with social media, etc. And, you do see the people getting the huge big payouts, which is incredible. But just focus on becoming a good trader and the money will follow. Become consistent. Get good at becoming consistent. And, over time, you'll be able to trade bigger size. And before you know it, you look back at the end of the month, you go, oh, cool, I'm up this month. I don't look at my performance day by day as well. I look back at the month and go, oh, how did I perform this month? Did I make money this month? Yeah. Did I make money? No. Did I do anything wrong? No, I fit my plan. Cool. That's trading. Just focus on becoming a good trader and the money will follow. Comes a time. My next level to buy gold, if we drop, I will not be buying gold. You can kind of see here, this is why the price action is a little bit tough today, but you can kind of see price came down here on the hourly time frame, liquidated a lot of these lows, held this inverse head and shoulders, and now you're coming back down. So if we start closing back below these areas, I'm not going to be buying gold. I will only be buying gold if we continue to break back above, which if you drop down to maybe the 15-minute, which we're about to get the close soon, if you close bearish, like I said to you guys earlier, I'm not predicting, I'm simply reacting. This is a nice level that I wanted to see hold to continue pushing up. So if we close back below this, I'm not going to be buying gold. If we start breaking back above, cool, then my bias will come in. You have some trend line coming down. We'll look for a reaction, cool, then I can buy gold. If we start closing below, again, in normal times, if I had reason to do so, I would just flip the bias and go short. Like I said to you guys, I don't really care about being right or wrong. But if we continue to break lower, I'm simply will not be buying gold. And if I was buying gold here, well, I'd be happy and I'll take the loss and wait. Do I trade Bitcoin? I don't trade Bitcoin. However, I do watch Bitcoin. I have held Bitcoin in the past. But I don't have any crypto holdings at the minute. I have no crypto holdings. I did see we had a nice big drop today again, you know, back down at 75s, which is, again, to me, it's healthy. I don't think this is too crazy. Seeing Bitcoin back down at these major levels, you know, like this is, you know, it's very easy to get so glued on a certain bias when you're so, you know, heavy in a position. But like this is nice. This is good. Again, would I start buying Bitcoin now? Well, not really. No, you know, again, this is what comes back to being neutral. Like I'm saying to you guys, you can see this level of support and be like, cool, we're bouncing off this nicely. But let's not forget, what are we not also doing to the highs? Well, we're not really breaking above. So we can't look at support and go, wow, Bitcoin must go up, without looking at the resistance and go, well, Bitcoin could also go down. So although, you know, you did have a nice bounce here, you failed to really close above any highs. So for me, you've had this pretty decent push down. You came back up, held this resistance, and now you're pushing back lower. Where do I think Bitcoin will go? I think where you're at now, 75 to 70,000 is going to be some big levels. Big levels. It's kind of nice to see it having a pullback though. I'm not really involved in any crypto at the minute. If we keep dropping below, maybe, you know, I'll consider it, but not so far. Are you trading gold because of the... No, I only ever just trade gold. Gold is, on my Topstep account, say gold is all I execute. You guys see, look at all at this progress. This is all I ever trade. Gold is all I ever trade. It's just because it moves well in my time zone. And it gives me opportunities, you know, most days, if not every day. Like I say, that, although I say it gives me opportunities every day, does that mean, you know, I'm going to be trading every day? Absolutely not. But it moves very well in my sessions, which is Asia, London, and a little bit of pre-New York sometimes. Like even here, you know, although I'm not massively executing this because it's just so big today, it's like, you know, you're getting these nice little moves here. But for me, there wasn't really any reason to short this just yet. However, remember guys, what did I say? I did say that this was the level that when you start, you know, if you are buying from here, as soon as you grab these highs, you have to manage your risk. Remember I said that to you guys before it happened? You guys can go back and watch it. So we were talking about this for price to continue pushing up into these areas. However, I did say once you get into these highs, this is where price could come up, liquidate its highs and push down. Therefore, if I am in the longs, I have to manage my risk here. Regardless of what I want to happen, I can't ignore that this is a very nice liquidity level and we could easily liquidate these highs before pushing lower. So although I would, you know, if I was in these buys, I would love price to continue pushing up. What I would love to happen and what are going to happen are two very different things. The second you start hitting these highs and failing to close above, cool, neutral, that's my exit, take the break even, happy days. So you guys can go back and watch that as well. I spoke about, you know, taking the 15 flip from these regions, and this would have to be a level to manage. And that's how I approach my trades. In normal times, you guys would see me actually taking the buys, going to break even, move my stops up, etc. I'm just not super comfortable trading today. And, you know, this is an opportunity for you guys to get to know me as well, me to get to know you guys, and build upon these London streams. But, you know, even though we're not executing, it's nice to see the levels playing out. Planning on moving to Thailand mid-year for that reason seems like a no-brainer once you start finding some consistent profits. Yeah, amazing, Max. That's awesome, man. Take your time with it. You know, don't... When I first, you know, my first, like, month of full-time trading, you know, I proved to myself that I could actually be consistent first. You know, got the fund accounts, got the payouts, etc. And once I proved it, I knew I could do it. Then I was like, okay, cool, I've got something here. It's very easy when you actually go full-time in trading. The first, you know, couple of weeks to couple of months, you're like, I need to trade every day. I have to trade every day because I have to make money from this. You try and trade from that perspective, it will not end well. And I know you can say it's easier said than done, but just from my experience, if you can still trade from the perspective of I don't have to make money today, as nice as it would be, I don't have to take a trade today. I don't want to put any pressure on myself of like, no, I have to make money today because it's my only income. You will do a lot better. So don't put any pressure on yourself and take a leap, man. I always said to myself, you know, if I take a leap at full-time trading and it doesn't work, well, guess what? I go back to what I was doing anyway. Who cares? At least I've tried. If you don't try, you don't know. The worst that can happen, you know, hopefully is, for me, it was I go back home and do what I was doing anyway. That's fine. I'm okay with that. But I have to try. If I don't try, I'll never know. Getting some buyers stepping in here on gold, guys. Yeah, take your time with the man and just, yeah, don't pressure yourself and give yourself a pat on the back for actually deciding to take that leap into full-time trading, given Thailand trade. You can live way below your means there, man. You can, if you're living somewhere like Thailand, you can maybe make 1,000-2,000 a month and be living a good life. But like I say, not only that is you'll actually be in a good headspace where you'll be able to think clearly because you're happier, you're in a place you want to be, you're not doing something you hate, and that really does impact your trading. Am I bullish? Am I bearish for the US dollar? Let me just have a quick look on my trading view charts here. The thing is, it does impact gold, but they're not highly correlated. Now, I will next time for you guys, I will set up OBS so I can share my trading view charts as well. But if you guys are on your trading view charts and you search for the DXY, I actually had drawn up on DXY on the daily time frame a head and shoulders from 107.5, and the simplest way to answer your question, the US dollar is bearish. I'm not bearish on the US dollar. I'm not anything. The markets are extremely bearish on the US dollar. US dollar is very, very bearish. Very, very bearish. Doesn't matter what I see. The markets are very bearish. And that's why you're kind of seeing the euro push higher as well. 6E if you guys want to look at euro futures. You're seeing the euro push high because the US dollar is continuing to get weaker. And that's what I said, I believe this rejection. So if you guys do look at the DXY, Euro USD is basically just the inverse. To me, any of you guys who do trade currencies, again, this is another strategy that I use, which you guys will see as well. I use a lot of trendline liquidity. So the way I trade trend lines is I try and understand what are most people trying to do and how can I take advantage of it. Well, for me personally, the way that I trade trend lines is, if you Google trend line, the trend line will say to you, okay, wait for 3 touches and then try and short here and put your stop loss just above these highs. To me, that's not how the markets move anymore, unfortunately. So if I was trading the euro, I would be looking for price to continue pushing up into some larger areas, all the way up here. I believe a lot of people will be trying to short these markets, trying to call the tops. For me, any pullbacks here is buying opportunities. I want to be following the markets. To me, this trend line is a retail trap. So I've been watching some levels up here. Hey, Aaron, good to see you on the first stream on TopstepTV. Thank you, D. Appreciate you tuning in. I'll be still heading over to your stream after as well. But thank you. It's good to be jumping on here, breaking down the markets. I would have loved to have taken some trades here this morning, but I just can't justify it. I don't want to. I've been super proud of my equity growth here. That I don't want to ruin it by doing anything stupid. That's why sometimes actually, which I'll do moving forward for you guys, is I'll actually fire up a Topstep combine. In times like this where the markets are extremely volatile, I don't want to trade my funded accounts. We can fire up a combine and maybe take some combine trades just for learning purposes. We'll absolutely do that for tomorrow as well. But when the market's good, you guys will see me execute every day. Not every day, but you'll see me execute every week. My levels on gold. Well, this is kind of similar to the euro. Is you do have, this is my liquidity level for the day, guys. Be watching that level up there. You do have a trend line coming down here as well. And as I mentioned on the euro, the way that gold likes to move, I would imagine a lot of people are probably trying to get short here right now, and maybe risking somewhere above here. Now, does that mean I'm going to start buying? I have to see fake out buy opportunities, and that's very simple. If I have a bullish bias on the day, well, all I want to see is fake out buys. So you're about to get the 30-minute close here, and if this 30-minute close is bearish, what have you done? You've been bearish, bullish, bearish. So you're creating a little bit of a range. So I'd want to see fake out buys, and fake out buys can be super simple. They're sometimes actually some of my best setups recently. This is a nice level. You broke below, you broke straight back above. Cool, nice fake out buys. Here you broke below, broke back above. Nice push up. Couldn't hold the resistance, came lower. So same again. Fake out buys back above this level for price to come up into here, and here to me looks nice. You're short? No, you're not. And that's the thing. This is just, again, it's not to say I'm right and you're wrong by any means. There's no right or wrong answer in trading with you guys. That's just my outlook right now. The only reason I'm slightly hesitant on shorting gold right now is because I feel like I'm just shorting into a massive level of support, which is like, I feel like if I'm selling gold right now, I'm almost like, at any point, we could tap into here and this trade can go against me. Like, my range to the downside isn't big enough for me to short. Again, that's not me saying price can't go down. Like I said to you guys, there's no right or wrong answer in trading. But my outlook is a lot of people will probably trying to short this trend line. And that's when, that's how I take advantage of trend line. You might push down to here and then come up and then bounce. And then that's when I'll be looking for something like that. That's when I'll be looking for something like that. But I suggest there's no right or wrong answer. There's not just because I believe gold's going to have a little squeeze higher, that doesn't mean it has to happen. We stay very neutral. You know, technically, you're trading what's right in front of you. You've closed back below level, you're holding it. That's good. That's trading what you see. If we start closing back above though, just keep that in the back of your mind. Aaron, great show so far. Thank you, Leon. On your gold trades, do you prefer keeping your trades overnight or no? I do take swings on my personal account. On my, all this growth that you guys have seen is, I don't hold overnight. I maybe hold on average. It depends. I like to day trade and scalp on my Topstep accounts. Sometimes I can swing on my personal. I do a bit of both. But for the purpose of talking about the Topstep accounts, I like to be in and out with 30 minutes to an hour, sometimes less. The trades that, you guys who are tuning in from my channel, the trades that we take, I'd say 15, 20 minutes maybe. It honestly depends on the markets. With how gold has been recently, yeah, I would have loved to just bought at the start of the year and just sat on a beach for the past 3 months. But unfortunately, it hasn't been that easy. I'm copy trading 4 at the moment. Well, personally, I can get some swings sometimes. Yeah, I copy trade 4 accounts at the minute. I said to you guys, why do I trade 4 50k accounts as opposed to just trading two 200s or one 150? Is I just like to stick to just one contract. I just find mentally it just works well with me. When I start trading 3, 4 plus contracts, I start taking partials at random points, which I wouldn't normally do. I just like to have my one position, and I'm out of my one position. That's just me personally. Some people are really good at scaling in and out of positions. I'm just not. And I know I'm not, and I'm okay with that. But this is nice because you kind of see we're coming down, we're liquidating these lows, we're holding this support again. If this 30 can flip bullish, you've got 5 minutes, there's a high chance you could continue driving up. Very simple price action, just playing from one range to the next. But again, these ranges are not normal on gold, guys. These ranges are, massive, very, very, very big. So be careful. Reduce your risk. If if you're, like I said to you guys earlier, if you're used to trading, if you're used to trading a 100 tick range, but gold's currently in a 500 tick range because the market is so volatile, accept that and reduce the risk. You can't trade the same contract size that you would normally trade in normal markets. But yeah, you can copy a total of 5 Express Fund accounts on Topstep. I have another funded account in the background that I don't like to copy over just in case anything crazy happens, which can happen at any point, and I always have one ready to go. Yeah, gold's been moving crazy. Yeah, it's been moving crazy, but like I said, it's nice to see gold pushing down because when we're peaking all-time highs, it's very hard for me to trade up here. Very, very hard for me to trade up here. So now that we're pushing down, great. Now when I can take trades, I actually have price to the left to base targets off. Whereas when when you're this was kind of, when you're up here, it's like, people are like, where's gold going to go to? I'm like, I have no idea. I have no idea when you're peaking all-time highs. I don't want to be buying all-time highs, and I certainly don't want to be selling all-time highs. So, although, yeah, they have been absolutely volatile, and what's nice is you guys who were on the London stream on Friday, which I already mentioned, we spoke about these highs here to come up and liquidate before pushing lower. Well, we've done that beautifully. So there's actually some really nice movement on Friday. I don't trade NFP, so I didn't trade Friday. And I wasn't able to trade the New York session, but it was a really, really nice sell-off. I'm sure some of you guys did short NFP. I personally just don't like to trade major news, but it was a really, really nice sell-off. I still think you're going to get a great week, so you guys who are new here, be sure to stay tuned. We've got plenty of trades coming this week. We just kind of need to get these crazy volatile markets out the way, and we'll have plenty of trades coming. But yeah, I was very patient last week. Like I said, you guys, if you survived last week, and even took a little loss or a little win, you did very well. You did very, very well. And like I said, you guys, it's not about being in a trade every single day. I don't know many people who trade profitably if they take new trades every single day. That's not to say that your plan, like my plan gives me multiple opportunities every single day. I'm human. And, some days I might come on the charts, I'm like today, I'm coming on the charts, I'm like, oh, I'm not really sure what's going to happen today. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Yeah, saw 70 pip. Yeah, the open. This is the thing. I wanted to short gold at the open after NFP, but by the time I jumped on the charts, gold had already ripped down like just 600 ticks, which I was like, I can sit here and I can cry about it and I can try and trade, or I can accept it and just walk away. So as soon as I saw this morning, I was like, cool, I've got a morning off. It's like, it's 5 p.m. for me now, so I just enjoyed my morning, went to the beach, had some coffee, had some lunch, and I was like, I'm just going to let these markets breathe. And that's one thing you guys want to get good at, is actually knowing when to actually walk away. And that's sometimes the hardest part in trading, is knowing when to walk away. I'm just going to check what time D's jumping on, guys. I don't want to hold you guys for too long. So remember, guys, you got D's session coming up straight after this as well. Let me just see. I'm still getting used to the schedules. D's jumping at 6:30 my time, of course. We've got about another half an hour. I'll give you some time to chill before D jumps on as well, guys. Be sure to stay tuned on the Topstep channel as well. Remember, guys, if you guys are new here, drop a little like for the stream. We'll be doing these a lot more moving forward. In an hour, yeah, awesome. Thank you, man. Thank you. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. No, I'm joking. It's just sparkling water. It's just sparkling water. I say it's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's 5 o'clock here. So we're going to get this 30 close here on gold, guys. Look at this. Again, this is why it's so important to stay neutral, and this is why the high time frame paints the key. If you would try and trade the 5 minute right now, awesome. Thank you, D. Awesome. If you're trying to trade the 5 minute here, guys, you know, you're trying to take longs, and you're trying to take shorts, and you're trying to take longs. But if you actually just zoom out, what are we actually doing here? What's the reality of what's going on here? We're bearish, we're bullish, we're bearish. Lies, Aaron. Stiff drinks for the first session with you guys. Stiff drinks for these markets, I'll be honest. Any other markets you guys want me to have a look at, feel free to send over. We've got a little bit more time here. Whether you guys want me to look at oil or some currency pairs, feel free to send over. Looks like a beer to me. Hey, I wish it was. Gold's testing my patience today. The thing is, though, I do like, and this is just a higher time frame outlook. I don't know whether I'm going to be able to execute or not, but I do still like this sort of inverse head and shoulders that's being formed here on gold. Again, this is a pattern that gold loves a lot, which you guys will see. Is you got this nice big left shoulder, head, right shoulder. And the way that I like to trade head and shoulders is, you know, this is usually my false support. This is my liquidity grab. This is my breakout, and then that's my trade. But in these markets, yeah. Whether or not, like I say, I'm going to be able to actually execute off that, I don't think so. So this line here, guys, around 30.40 is my hourly level. So would I be selling this 30-minute breakout? Well, again, this is when multi-time frame analysis comes back into the key. Although the 30-minute has closed below, keep in mind, well, where are we at? Again, we can probably just adjust this a little bit to us there. That, like, we're still at that hourly support, and this could easily be a liquidity grab to the previous hourly lows to continue pushing up. So would I take this 30-minute breakout? Unfortunately not. Unfortunately not. I normally trade the 5-minute. Well, I execute the 5-minute. I execute the 5-minute based on my higher time frame analysis. I don't, you know, one thing that I don't like to do is open my charts, jump straight to the 5-minute and try and pick direction off this time frame, because you can just get chopped up here all day long. So what I like to do is wait for my higher time frame to be confirmed, which is, you know, sometimes hourly, 30-minute, 15, and then drop down. So I get my confirmation on the higher time frame, and then my 5 minutes purely for execution. 5 minute to me is a great time frame to execute off. It's a terrible time frame to try and pick direction. So no direction is picked off the 5-minute. It's purely to execute on what the higher time frame is telling me, which, you know, unfortunately right now, it's just sideways. But you guys who are continuing to stay on for the rest of the session, you know, you could get some continued buying later on. I would be watching this trend line coming down. Same as the euro as well. I'd like the euro to squeeze higher, maybe a little bit of a pullback off this trend line, you know, bring in sellers. And then I'd like this to continue pushing up as well. Let's have a look at some other markets. Have a look at oil quickly. I know oil has been look at this. Back below 60. Look at that on oil. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That is insane. Any guys remember who here remembers when oil went below the minus? I remember when oil went to minus, and I was like telling myself, I was telling my friends, I was like, I'm gonna buy this. As soon as we get back up and I can trade this, I'm gonna buy oil. Did I buy oil? I did not. I was too scared. I was too scared. It went below the minus. I think it went to like -$5 or something, which is absolutely insane. But this is getting hit hard. Absolutely getting hit hard. And it's, again, you know, I'm not going to say it, but again, this is the, you know, this is the same way that I trade gold. What do we have here? We have a massive level of support. Anyone who's swing trading this, where are they buying? Where's their stops going? Just below this low. It's the same way that I trade gold. Is you never came down and liquidated these lows before this move up. You created a perfect double bottom. So to me, this is a beautiful liquidity level. And so is this. I'm not sure if you've already grabbed it. I need to hide that news thing after. These lows here, if you start bouncing from here, this actually could be a potential setup. If you start bouncing from here, that will bring in a lot of retail traders who are trying to buy this support. And at any opportunity, to me, that's a good selling opportunity. Same here. You know, what do you have here as well? You have a nice trend line coming up here. How do people trade trend lines? They buy the bounce of trend lines and put their stop loss just down below the low. Well, it'd be fantastic if the markets still moved like that, but unfortunately they don't. They're much smarter than that. So if you see these trend lines, you see these supports, same as what we got forming on the gold and euro right now, at any bounce, that's your opportunity to look for sells into that. Again, it was NFP on Friday, so it's not a sell I would have taken, but it's nice to see the liquidity playing out even here on oil. And I used to trade oil. If you guys are asking, do I trade oil? I don't anymore, unfortunately. It's just one of them where it's like, I've had some fantastic trades on oil. Let me just put these lights on, guys, so I'm a little bit dull. Let me see if that's a bit better. There we go, that's a bit better. Wow, look at that, a bit too bright. I've had some fantastic trades on oil, but I've also had some absolutely shocking trades where I can't even read the price action. Like I look at this, and I'm like, wow, that's a fantastic push down on oil. A lot of the times I feel like if I trade oil, I get stuck up in this and it just doesn't make sense to me. I know some guys love trading oil. That's fantastic. It just doesn't make sense to me. One thing we have been trading recently as gold was peaking all-time highs and very hard to trade is looking at copper. And copper did peak all-time highs and have a nice sell-off as well. So, which is, you know, usually when you see the stock selling off so hard, usually gold's pushing up, which is why it's interesting to see gold actually continuing to push down at the minute. But it is off the back of that non-farm payroll news on Friday. Yeah, oil was. I think that's when I used to love trading it before. Yeah, before all that situation, it was very, very nice. I gave oil a good couple of shots, but it just wasn't for me. It just wasn't. It's just the reason I love gold so much, because gold I can read price action really well, and maybe that's just because I've traded it for long and I just understand it more. But oil, I'm just like, I just don't understand it. When it's trending down like it is, it's fantastic. But when it's in the range bound markets, you know, I can't trust any price action or breakout. So that's fine. You know, like I say, gold gives you plenty of opportunities most days. So that's all I need. You know, I'm not trying to trade every market. It's not, I don't trade every market. I just trade gold. But we'll break them down for you guys as well. I'm just saying, me personally, I like to just trade the one thing, and I've become very good at that one thing, and that's what I like to stick to. So master your one asset, get very comfortable, know the ins and outs of it, and master that, and then, you know, maybe you can branch out into other things. Do you mark pre-market highs and lows, and if so, what time is your highs and lows? No, I don't. Again, I think it works well for other markets. For gold, it's not something I look at. I'll look at daily highs and lows, but that's in the sense of when they haven't been liquidated. So one thing that gold will do, which you guys will see me speak about more, is gold loves to come down and grab previous highs or lows before a real move. And that's what I call the liquidity grab. So I look at daily lows when I can see, like, you know, for instance here, if I just, can I hide this for a second? Can you, I don't think I can replay here. If you look at here on gold, look at this massive push up. You haven't really grabbed any lows for quite some time. So when I see equal lows like this, that's when I'll mark on these lows, and I could look for shorts into that liquidity. And that's the only real time I mark on highs and lows. For instance, you know, if today was to close like this on gold, I would mark on today's high, and coming into tomorrow, I could be like, oh, cool, I could buy up into this liquidity before potentially going short. That's the only really time I do it. A lot of the time, you guys will see, gold loves to come down and grab previous highs or lows before a real move. Same as this, you know, it's very, very minor, but it's very, very key. Here, what do we do before this whole push up? You close bearish, you came down, grab the lows, massive reversal. Again, it just does it time and time and time again. So I try and spot them before they've happened. You know, I jump on the charts on this day, I'm like, cool, I want to get nice sells down into this low, and that's going to be my trade. Which, when the markets are more clearable, we will absolutely get that. My plan for gold right now, let's have a look. My plan right now is to honestly sit on my hands. My plan right now is to sit on my hands. Like I said to you guys, I like gold to continue pushing up. I like buys off this hourly support, off the 4 hourly support. I don't like sells. I don't like selling gold here. So that's why I'm not really looking for sells, even though the 30's closed bearish. I don't like sells. I don't like sells because we're at massive daily support. We're at massive 4 hourly support. We're at massive hourly support. So to me, to sell here on gold it doesn't make sense. And what are we also doing? What did I just mention to you guys? What have we just done? What are we doing right now? We are coming down. We are liquidating. My drawings need to get better than that. We're liquidating previous hour lows and currently holding support. So could this be a liquidity grab with the previous lows to continue pushing up? Have we grabbed the hourly highs? Let's see. Did we grab them? No, we haven't really. So I guess you could say you got 2 hourly highs there as well. So you've got 2 equal hourly highs. You're currently grabbing the lows. Again, I don't like to predict too much in this range because sometimes, you know, you can draw on, you know, 1,000 different confluences. You just delete everything for a second. What are we actually doing? We're bearish or bullish or bearish or bullish. So I do love gold to continue pushing up into at least these highs and these highs. Can I execute on it? Not right now. Not right now, unfortunately. Which is a shame because I would love to take a nice good trade here for you guys for the first stream. I mean, we did see the nice 15-minute bounce here, which was nice. The nice 15-minute bounce into these highs. About 50 ticks, which is not bad. But it's not a good enough trade for me to actually execute off. Don't trade, you can't trade XFAs on anything that is limit down. I believe you can trade combines, but not any funded accounts. You can on gold. Gold, I could trade gold here. I don't really see a reason to do so just yet. Yeah, loves to test 4-hour highs, lows. Yeah, absolutely. That's what's so nice on gold. And that's the thing, you know. Again, it actually was nice buying. Nice. And again, this is the reason I actually wanted to sell gold today in Asia. I wanted to sell gold because what did you have here? If you just, is there a way for me to like draw a tool to hide everything? Can I say if we do this? Let me just so I can show you guys because I can't replay. Cool. If we do, where's my box? Give me my box. So if we do this for a second, it's going to cut it off a little bit. It's going to cut it off too much. What I was just trying to show you guys before it had happened. If you look at this, what do you have here? You got 2 equal lows. So you got 2 equal lows. So what's below there? Liquidity. Cool. That's why I wanted to sell gold in the Asian session. Not only because you have 2 lows, but because you've been so bearish. To me, this was an easy sell here in Asia. It just happened right at the open, and I just wasn't able to take it. But this to come down today, especially to retest 3,000. And this is, again, what gold loves to do, which I don't have it on this screen, which I will do for you guys moving forward, is I love to put on my psychological round levels. So the way that, again, I like to trade gold as well is gold loves to bounce off the 50 levels and the 100 levels. So, you know, you've got your 3,000s, you've got your 30,050, you've got your 30,100. Gold absolutely loves... Gold loves them levels, and I always have them on my trading view charts. I will put them so you guys can see them on here moving forward as well. And they're my main key levels on gold. I have all of the relevant ones on my charts. So again, if I was watching any at the minute, these would be some big ones that I watch. Look what you did on Friday as well. You held 3,100, massively broke below it, but you haven't quite come up to retest that yet. 24/7 Topstep, yeah, not too far away. 24/6, I believe, because the guys jump on Sunday their time as well, which is my Monday. Topstep 24/5, yeah, 24/6. But yeah, massive bounce here off 3,000. Again, this was so interesting, and this is why for me here, I actually took a loss here on gold back in March, because you never came back down to retest 3,000 when you aggressively broke above it. On March, I was like, cool, here you got a lot of trendline liquidity, you had a lot of equal date lows. I was shorting this, and I was confident with this short as well, and then fundamentals said otherwise. Gold ripped higher, and I was like, that's interesting for me to see this push up so much without liquidating any of these daily lows and 4-hour lows, without also retesting 3,000. So I was like, okay, cool, today jumping on, I think shorts in 3,000 would be fantastic. Unfortunately, it happened within the first open, so yeah, I was unable to short it, and that's like I say, when I saw this, you know, could I have maybe bought 3,000 for a retracement higher? Maybe, but do I want to be the one buying gold off 3,000 after a 1,600 tick drop off, which any of you guys haven't traded gold, that's insane. I don't. So even though this was a really nice bounce here today, even if I was watching it, would I have been buying here? I wouldn't. You know, sometimes you'll be able to call market moves well. Does that mean you're going to be able to execute it on every single time? Probably not. You just have to accept that, and that's okay. I'll get rid of these levels for you guys. We'll keep it clean. Like I said, I'll set up the streaming software so I can flick in between the trading view charts and these charts as well moving forward. I'll stay on for another 13 minutes, you guys. Then I'll give you guys a little break before D jumps on her show at past. So, any questions you guys do have, feel free to shoot it over. This is more of just a introduction today. Moving forward, hopefully we'll be able to get some trades on stream with you guys, as I normally do on my channel as well. Yeah, the 4-hour trend line is actually really nice. I have seen that as well, man. I've seen that as well. Nice 4-hour trend line. Do you mean the one coming down? The one coming down, man? The one going up? Let's have a look. I don't think I've spotted the one going up. Let me have a quick look on my currency chart. One going up. Where have you got? Is it from trend line going up? Have you got? Let me just use this little tool. I like this little tool for trend lines. Let's have a look. Like this. That one, man. Is that what you're looking at? Yeah. That's an interesting one. It's tough though. And the thing is, you know, although we trade trend lines, if that's our trend line, you know, we're looking for price to come down and grab the lows. Because it's such a major trend line, you could easily still see a couple of 100 tick pullbacks before them potentially shorting. So I wouldn't really look at that trend and go, oh yeah, like this is a great selling opportunity. That's a very high time frame perspective. I think the nicest trade today is, honestly, I would love to see today on gold. Again, it's so hard to say. We're in the London session, but I would love to see today on gold close a bit doji. And then I would love to see price come and fulfill this major area here. Creep up into here, and then before more selling on gold. Again, though, it's purely fundamental on gold right now. That's why it's so hard for me to see that trend. But oh yeah, I think we're gonna have a big push down. I don't believe we have any. Let me just have a quick look. We got. There's no news today. There's no news tomorrow. We do have FOMC meeting minutes 7 p.m. London time on Wednesday, which would be very, very. We've got CPI on Thursday as well. CPI 1:30 London time on Wednesday. Now that will be very, very big. So that's the thing. You know, if gold could creep up into this head and shoulders Monday, Tuesday into Wednesday, and then potentially you get the big shorts then. You know, that could be nice. I do like it when the fundamentals line up with the technicals. You know, when you got a pretty clear week, you can imagine some corrections, a lot of profit taking of this big sell-off. You know, if I was a big seller here on gold, where would I be looking to take profit? Well, 3,000 obviously, right? 3,000 is a huge level. So if a lot of people are taking profits down here, and people who are short, what does that mean? It means there's a possibility for the buyers to step back in and potentially push this higher. So a lot of profit taking could go down here, which could also give pullbacks. And if anyone is looking for, maybe a higher time frame outlook, well, where would they like to short? I'd say they probably want to short up here. Looks like they want to short up there. Let me just have a quick look at the 522 people tuning in. Appreciate you guys tuning in. You guys drop a little like for the Topstep channel. Got plenty more where today's session comes from. More of an introduction session for you guys today. Get familiar with who I am. If anyone has just tuned in, my name is Aaron. I've been trading for about 7 years. I've been trading streaming on my own channel for about 3 years, and now streaming here on the Topstep channel for the foreseeable. Ooh, good question. How do you adapt to changing conditions? What tools do you use to spot changes in market environments? Good question. Well, the way that I like to trade anyway is extremely adaptive. I've traded liquidity, head and shoulders, morning and evening stars on gold for a long, long, long time. And I always find they always followed that similar plan, which I've never had to adapt in that sense. But if anything, to be honest, over the years, my technicals have gotten simpler. And I like to read a naked chart. Like I draw these levels on to represent stuff for you guys. But I like to read a naked chart so I can be extremely adaptive with the price action. And And, you know, again, that's one thing that how I have adapted my strategy is, and this is with the markets, is let's say if this is my liquidity level and I'm looking for price to come up, liquidate these highs before potentially going short. Well, previously, I would wait for price to get up into here and then I would try and short. Well, the way that I've adapted to that now is there's nothing to say that price can't come up, grab into these highs and just continue pushing higher. So one thing I have adapted is, rather than me waiting for price to get up into here and then trying to predict shorts, I'll try and look for buy opportunities up into that. And then whatever happens up here, I don't really care. That's my trade. So I'm very adaptive with price action. But yeah, I don't use any... I sometimes usually have a view app on here, which I'll look at on occasion. But on gold, just pure price action. Pure price action is all I like to do. I've never really had to change that much. I used to use a lot of Fibonacci. For my swing trading, but even now it's like I don't even like to use that anymore. I like to keep it much more simple than that. Much more simple than that. And if I can get good at reading naked price action, I'm pretty good at just following the markets. And if anything does change, you know, I'm going to see it. And it hasn't, you know, even with this, you know, and these markets are insane right now. It still followed my same plan. You still came up, you liquidated the highs. What did you do? You grabbed some highs and pushed lower. It would be extremely rare to see gold come up for a double top and not grab these highs before it push down, because that's where, you know, everyone's trying to sell stops just above this resistance. So what does price do? Price comes up, liquidates the previous high, massive sell-off. Yeah, pure price technician, absolutely. Absolutely. If you can get good at reading a naked chart, I promise you guys are going to do very, very well. Very, very well. And like I said, you guys, you know, once the markets do calm down a bit, Monday was bound to be wild to say the least today, but once the markets do calm down, you guys are going to see me executing trades on stream, you know, the wins, the losses, absolutely everything. You guys are going to see me taking these trades on stream, managing my risk, you know, all of these positions that we take these on stream together. You guys will see all of that. We'll take some wins together, we'll take some losses together. Like I said, I will fire up a combine for you guys as well, just for when the markets are maybe not moving as normal. At least we can fire up a combine and still at least take some trades just to get, just so you guys can learn from the management as well. One thing I pride my trading on is not necessarily being right all the time, but accepting when I'm wrong and doing something about it. So you guys will see me, you know, 1 minute I could be short on gold, the next minute I could be long. It's purely just based off price. And I don't, like I say, I don't care about being right or wrong. I'm extremely adaptive. But any trades I do take, you know, I won't say to you guys buy now, sell now. I'm not a financial advisor. No, this is financial advice, purely entertainment for you guys. But you will, you know, you'll see me putting the buy stops and the sell stops and the market orders and the managing risk. I'm sure you guys will take a lot of value just from seeing me, you know, manage risk, get out of trades, cut losses quick, etc. Which for you guys who have come across from my channel, you guys have been watching me do it for a good couple of years now. Good couple of years. Let's have a quick look at, I didn't actually, before I jump off, let me just have a quick look at copper, because I know some of you guys do trade it. I hadn't had a chance to look at copper. Let's have a quick look. I know you did peak all-time highs and sell off aggressively. Wow, look at that. Again, I honestly, I look at this on copper and I just go, I'm not going to be able to trade this today. And you just can, you know, you can see this huge push down and you can, you know, you can get frustrated, you can get annoyed, or you can just be like, it is what it is. Is every day like this? No, it's not. What did you also do here, guys? Look at this, even on copper futures. What did you do? Came up, liquidate the highs. Massive sell-off. Very nice. Honestly, if I was going to trade copper today, I wouldn't trade copper today. It's, you know, again, it's one of them where it's like, it's had such a big move down off NFP. It's like, do I want to be calling the bottom and trying to catch this rejection? Not really. I want to be following these shorts, which, you know, would have been lovely at the Asia, but you opened and ripped down. So do I want to be buying this rejection? Well, do I want to ignore the fact that price liquidated highs on Friday and had a massive sell-off? Not really. So how would I approach this? I would just accept it and come back tomorrow and trade, you know, something else, for example. Gold is looking nicer. I still think you're going to get some nice opportunities on gold today, guys. You just need to be a little bit patient with it. We've already had some, you know, this is a massive move up here at 2:15 London time. This is a huge push up. So it's not really the market's fault that we're ranging. It's just already had a big push up. It just came earlier than expected. Doesn't mean you can't continue pushing up later on. It just doesn't happen to happen right now. So I don't think gold is ranging because, you know, the markets aren't as good right now. You've just already seen a very nice push. You've a very nice push. You know, you're bound to have a nice push up, create some space, and then we could go up later on. What is nice is we're liquidating a lot of lows. We're grabbing a lot of liquidity with a lot of highs above. So for you guys who are looking to trade gold for the rest of the day, once you do get the breakouts, I prefer longs. I prefer longs. Do I use order blocks to find support and resistance? No, I don't. I don't really know what order blocks are. Is there a difference between order blocks and support and resistance? Maybe a stupid question. Some of you guys who do trade order blocks, but no, I don't personally. Oh, look at this. Look at this Audi. Regrabbing previous lows. If this Audi flips bullish, guys, maybe you got some nice buys here. But be careful. I still, you know, as nice as I have these beautiful liquidity levels, my reasons for these levels is I believe that most people are probably trying to do something like this right now. I believe most people are trying to short here. Let me move this out of the way. Most people are trying to short here. Stops are above these highs. But it's still hard for me to buy it up into this with how big the range are. Long term, I don't think it will last too much longer. It's not the first time the markets have seen tariff news, that's for sure. Good question, Aaron. How do you manage your positions? I mean, how do you define where to exit or where to scale out? So you guys who were here earlier, and you guys who weren't, don't worry, go back and watch it. What I was saying is, if I was, we spoke about these buyers off this 15-minute flip from here. And what I was saying to you guys is, you know, I would love to see gold continue pushing up into these highs. However, the second you start grabbing these highs, regardless of what I want to see, this is a level of resistance where we could easily, and I said this before it was happening, you guys can scroll back to about 7:50 London time. I was saying as soon as you hit these highs, regardless of if I want price to keep pushing up or not, I have to accept that this is a level where price could come up, liquidate these highs, and keep pushing down. So to me, this is a reversal level. So if I'm in longs and this is a potential reversal level, the second we come into here, I have to manage my risk. I have to. Regardless of if I want price to go up or, you know, just because I'm long and I don't manage my risk and I get stopped out, I'm going to be frustrated. I stay super neutral. Regardless of if I'm long or short, I'm understanding that this is a level where price could go against me. I have to manage my trade. So I manage my positions based off price coming into key reversal areas. Example right now, let's just say for whatever reason, you just bought gold right here because it's grabbing some lows and, you know, you want price to continue pushing up. Regardless of what you want and what are going to happen are two very different things. Again, what have we just come into? We've just come into a massive level of resistance and we've just grabbed some highs. So you have to manage your risk. So the second you come into levels where price can go against you, and again, this is just my approach. The second it comes to these levels where price is going to go against me, although I would love to see price come up and grab these highs, this is a barrier, and this is a barrier where I have to manage my trade. And if I don't manage my trade and price holds this resistance and keeps pushing down, when I'm, you know, less emotional and I'm more neutral, I'm going to look back and go, wow, that was really stupid. Why was I buying here, buying support, and not being open to the fact that this is a level of resistance? So trade management is based off levels where price can go against me. And that's why I try and stay super neutral and try to trade without an ego or bias. Because I want to be seeing the charts from that completely neutral perspective. Regardless of if I'm long or if I'm short, the second you come into these reversal regions, I have to accept it. And that's why, again, you know, that's why I like to trade one contract and copy accounts. When I was trading like 5 to 10 contracts, it was messing with my emotions too much, and I would end up just holding on to trades just because I want price to go up. And I would take a lot of losses, and I would look back and go, wow, if I wasn't so glued to my position, because sometimes you know, if you're long here and you're buying like 5 contracts, you know you're over leveraged. Sometimes a very simple level of resistance can just completely go out the window because you're so focused on you want price to go up. So trade with a good size and trade with a size that is going to be able to keep you grounded and keep you in that neutral approach to the markets. That's how I just like to do it. Like even here, you know, buying this was nice. Second you come into this resistance, as much as nice as it would be for gold to break it and continue pushing up, it doesn't have to. Gold will do whatever it wants. So all we can do is manage our risk based off them levels. Which, with that being said, guys, we've been on for what, almost about an hour and a half. I don't want to keep you guys too much longer because you have a D jumping on soon in the next 30 minutes. So I will keep it short and sweet today for you guys. I appreciate you all taking the time to tune in. My name is Aaron Trades. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll be live again same time tomorrow, and hopefully we'll get some normal markets and we can actually trade together as well. So thank you all very much for tuning by. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Trade safe the rest of the day, and enjoy D's session. And I'll see you guys soon. Trade safe, guys. I'll talk to you all soon. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.